Time/Siena College poll released Saturday shows Vice President Kamala Harris leading former President Donald Trump in 3 key swing states. The poll, conducted between August 5th and August 9th, found that if the election were held today, 50% of voters among the likely electorate in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania would choose Harris, while 46% say they would choose Donald Trump. The Harris campaign has gotten a boost since President Joe Biden dropped out of the race last month, July 21st to be exact, and endorsed his VP. She's raised more than $300 million and has drawn Trump-like crowds at rally stops in Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada. Before I get to my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, let me show y'all this poll to juxtapose what was transpiring in June. National poll, August 12th, has Harris up 48% to 47% for Trump. That's as of today, okay? That's what the national poll average is showing. Less than 2 months ago, June 28th, Trump had a 5-point lead, okay? So let's understand something. Let's understand this right now. This is a beautiful thing. If you're a Democrat, you're a leftist, because you're looking at it, in my opinion, all wrong. Let me be the first to say, that doesn't mean shit to me. It means nothing to me. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to decide whether you're trying to win or not. And whether you truly believe you deserve to win. Now, I've been on the record. I'm going to support my sister Kamala Harris, HBCU grad just like myself, Vice President of the United States of America, former Attorney General for the state of California, former District Attorney in the city of San Francisco. I see what folks have been saying, not all, not most, but some folks have been trying to say about her. You understand, questioning her intellect and all of this other stuff. Now, I ain't going for that. We ain't going to get into the questioning her ethnicity either. You don't sit up there and get to tell us if we got a speck of black in our blood, then guess what? We black. But then all of a sudden, she's running for the president of the United States. You want to ask questions, is she black? Or is she Indian? I don't know. No, we don't get to do that. We ain't doing that, all right? But having said all of that, fair is fair. Fair is fair to independents out there. Fair is fair to conservatives and Republicans out there. There's certain things that we have to hold both sides to. Now, Joe Biden stepped aside as the presumptive Democratic nominee on July 21st, okay? Now, I'm going to look at this right now. I'm looking at my calendar because I just want to make sure. You know, July 21st was a Sunday. We've had 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 1 day.
Oh, boy. Okay, so every now and then, we get graced with the presence of Stephen A. Smith when he decides to bring out his political side. And truthfully, I love it when it happens because he seems to turn into a temporary conservative. And I know a few of you have probably already seen this video. It is a few days old now, but it is actually a pretty important video. I would like to go through it in its entirety because there's a few good points that he brings up that you're not going to hear any other Democrat say. You'll only hear people on the right say this type of stuff. And this is where Stephen A. Smith, I don't know if he does this intentionally or not, but he actually kind of does us a favor. He really brings out some strong, valid points here, and he calls Kamala Harris straight out. At this point, what he just counted with his 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and a day. That's 22 days calling her out that she has not done an interview. And now, that was 6 days ago, so we're at 28 days, and she still technically has not done an interview. She did one with Tim Walz the other day. That's a very scripted little play thing that they did. But either way, let's get back into this, and we're going to talk about it along the way.
Since Joe Biden stepped aside, the only damn place we've seen Kamala Harris is at pep rallies. What's up? Somebody got to say something. And it can't just be the conservatives. Right is right. I'm talking to my sister here. Come on now. You running for the presidency of the United States of America. You got my vote. You running for the presidency of the United States of America. What you hiding for? And I mean hiding in plain sight. Somebody got to say it.
He's not lying there. She has been hiding in plain sight. She's avoided all interviews. She's only doing these rallies. And even at her rallies, when she's speaking herself maximum 30 minutes. 18 to 30 minutes. When Donald Trump's doing his rallies, he's by himself, hour and 30 minutes easy. Goes off the teleprompter left, right, and center. She literally does nothing but follow the teleprompter.
Somebody got to say it. Now, you can't be running for the presidency of the United States. Not one single press conference, not one single one-on-one sit-down interview where somebody gets to question you about the questions that we ask. That's not fair. That's not fair. And if you're a conservative and you out there lambasting her for it, ridiculing her for it, trying to torment her for it or whatever, it is perfectly within your right to do so. All of you anti-conservatives out there, shut the hell up. That's a valid point. It ain't valid to bring up a blackness or an Indian heritage and to try to point to things of that nature. That's nonsense.
That's not what Republicans were doing. We're not trying to say that Kamala Harris is not black. We're just saying that she's only using the black side of her heritage when it's convenient.
But to ask her about her record, because she is attached to the Biden record, is definitely apropos, especially when you were bragging about the record. We talked about Biden being a transformative president. Well, stand on it then. Stand on it. Where you at? No George Stephanopoulos, no Meet the Press, no State of the Union. What's up? No Face the Nation, no Politico, no MSNBC.
Now, he's giving her the benefit of the doubt there. He's literally just talking about the left-wing media, and she's even avoiding them. Because at this point, they're fed up. They're going to ask her the hard questions. They're not just going to do these little scripted questions. For all we know, she's already turned down interviews with them because she's trying to send approved questions, which is what they've always done on the left. At this point, it's very easy to see that even the left-wing media knows there's something up. Why is she avoiding the media? And they want answers too.
I understand why you wouldn't do Fox. Liberals don't really do Fox, just like conservatives don't really do MSNBC. You're welcome to the Stephen A. Smith Show. I will gladly interview Donald Trump. I will gladly interview Kamala Harris. Name the time or place. I'll come to you. I'll come to you. I'll show up. Anytime. And I'm no political aficionado. I'm gonna need fact checkers. I don't know everything that y'all gonna say. But I know this much. I know how to ask the questions that Americans want to know.
Now, this is where things get a little more heavy with this. And this is where I say he puts on his conservative hat. He is going to ask the questions here that Americans do want to know. And these are the questions that she's going to avoid answering at all costs. Again, she wants to be able to approve questions before she goes out to these other interviews and whatnot. In the past, Joe Biden's done the same thing. It's always approved questions. But there is specific questions that people want to know the answer to, and she's going to have to answer them. She's never going to get elected unless she answers these questions. And Stephen A. Smith brings up a couple of them here, and they're pretty straight on point. Let's check it out.
Kamala Harris, there are certain things that we have to ask you a question about. There's simply no way of getting around certain things. Weren't you against fracking? Is that true? And now you're for it? Just asking. These are important questions to think about. You're going to intensify and elevate the importance of securing our borders. Were you always that way? These are legitimate questions. You no longer support a national ban on fracking. Also, you no longer support the elimination of private health insurance. Is it true that one time you supported those things? When did your mind change? How long ago was that?
She's going to have no way of explaining any of this. How do you explain it? She came out years ago when she was running for president back in 2019 and stating, yeah, I absolutely support banning fracking. The thing with the Medicare, she wanted to get rid of that. Now she's willing to tell anybody anything that they want to hear in order to get elected. So I've stated in the past that she means everything that she says until November 5th.
When were you going to tell the American people? Why'd you keep it from everybody? And yes, it is a legitimate question. How much did you know about Joe Biden and the slippage? The cognitive decline that so many people have alluded to on both sides of the aisle now. Did you ever feel compelled to tell anybody? I know you didn't want to come out and dime them out publicly, but privately, were you working behind the scenes? Did you tell folks about this? Did you talk to Joe Biden himself about that? These are legitimate questions for a presidential candidate. And the reason why I think it's important, ladies and gentlemen, to bring this issue up. I support Kamala Harris over Donald Trump. But fair is fair. Why is it more important than ever before? I could bring up Hillary Rodham Clinton in 2016. And I understand that James Comey came about and basically got in the way of everything with the whole deleted email scandal just a couple of weeks before Election Day. But isn't it true that you thought you had the election in the bag and didn't necessarily campaign in places like Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, swing states like that, prior to the election, while Donald Trump did campaign in those elections in 2016? Is it not true that just in this cycle, that there wasn't really a primary for the Democrats? Because the way was paid for President Joe Biden. This is not about Kamala Harris. This is about the Democratic Party.
Now, this is another part where things get a little heated up, especially now that Kamala Harris had released her economic plan a couple days ago. What Stephen A. is pointing out here is the fact that there was no open primary. Pretty much, well, the Republicans had chosen their candidate. The Democrats never got a chance to choose their candidate. Which, what does that spell? Socialism, communism. We're going to get a little bit more into Kamala's economic plan a little bit later in the video here. But this is the first thing that Stephen A., I think what he's hinting at here, without saying it directly, is we're talking about socialism.
How dare you? How dare you? If the man is ready and qualified to run for the presidency of the United States of America, why are you getting in the way of competition? Let the American people decide. I don't give a damn if it's Dean Phillips or somebody else. Let us decide. We're the voters. Let us decide. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking to the Democrats and the Republicans. You see, when you want to sit up there and you want to crucify Donald Trump, I'm down for that. I don't like a lot of stuff about Donald Trump. I can't deny, however, the man does a whole bunch of interviews. Getting ready to get interviewed by Elon Musk. Showed up to the National Association of Black Journalists. Knew that wasn't going to be a pleasant experience.
And now 2 weeks in a row, he's done these huge news conferences, press conferences, where he has all sorts of media, left-wing media as well. He lets everybody ask him a question. You. It doesn't matter. There's no chosen name, no chosen question. Donald Trump doesn't hide. Kamala Harris does.
You saw him. You didn't even say hello. How are you? We saw that. But he was there. I saw Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, saw people trying to knock him off in the primaries. The Republican conservative folks in this country spoke. We want Donald Trump, they said. Okay. 2 impeachments, $454 million civil case, 34 felony convictions. They said, we don't give a damn. He's our guy. Did we really get to make that choice about Joe Biden? We didn't. Because there was no primary.
Again, your candidate was chosen for you. You had no say in the matter. Speaking to Democrats here, of course. This is communism. You're supposed to vote for your candidate, not have it chosen for you. And even when Biden stepped out, you didn't even get a choice with Kamala. Kamala was stuffed down your throat.
Perhaps if there was competition, perhaps if he had to compete for the position, and we heard other voices emanating from the Democratic side, from the left side, from the progressive side, we would have felt better. But the road was paved for Joe Biden to cakewalk to the Democratic convention to be the official Democratic nominee until he showed up for a debate on June 27th. And all hell broke loose thereafter. Had it not been for that, all we would have been doing was talking. But he still would have showed up in Chicago a week from now for the Democratic National Convention and pushed in as the Democratic nominee. Wait a minute. If that's the case, what's right about that? Now, you Kamala Harris, let me say this. I'm not saying this to malign you. I'm saying this because I believe in you. I believe you show up on a debate stage against Donald Trump and you'll do your thing. That sister will come out in you and you'll be ready. As you stated eloquently during your first press conference as a presumptive nominee, I know Donald Trump's type.
Now, I look forward to the debate. Even though it's at ABC, she deked out the Fox debate. Doesn't really show much backbone, to be honest with you. But ABC, they're going to be totally against Trump. It's going to be 1 against 3. Trump will handle it. Trump won't have a problem handling it. She's never handled a person like Trump. She thinks she knows Donald Trump's type. Donald Trump's a whole different kind of animal. But Donald Trump definitely knows her type.
So you can handle your business. I believe. Do you believe?
I think the answer there is no. If he's asking Kamala Harris, I don't think she does believe she can beat Donald Trump in a debate.
What's up? This strategy that everybody's invoking. Let's not say anything. I'm not saying the strategy wasn't good to this point. But remember, I was the one that said a year ago, we needed a new president for the next election. Joe Biden can't be the guy. Y'all waited about 8 months, but everybody found out I was right. And I'm telling you now, Vice President Harris, this strategy that is working, that has you up in the polls, where you showing up at rallies and that's pretty much press conferences and interviews, that is not going to fly for much longer. You're coming out with your economic plan this week, supposedly. Can't wait to see it.
This is what I'm looking forward to. Her economic plan did come out just a couple days ago. Now, if y'all remember, Kamala Harris in the past presented equity and equality, which in other words is communism. She pretty much well presented that as her economic plan with the price gouging, the way to stop it, the price cap it, pretty much well cost control. And that sounds all good to the naked ear at first, of all of us that are dying spending money on groceries and can't afford a big grocery order. It sounds great. Yeah, instead of spending $5 for that pack of cookies, I'll get it for $3. Give it a couple months. There's other people out there now that have explained it, how this kills the free market. And then once after a couple of months, when people are complaining, wait a second, I'm still hungry and I'm still broke, well, maybe you're not spending your money properly and we're going to have to start monitoring that. And before you know it, they're going to be capping your spending. How much money you can spend on gas in a month's time and how much meat you can buy in a month's time. And the way to do that would be all through central banking digital currency. How long is it going to be before she presents that? She openly presented in a nice sounding package communism. I'm looking forward to see if Stephen A is going to say anything about that in the future.
Fracking, private health insurance, our borders. We want to hear about that. I want to see you interviewed by George Stephanopoulos. Hell, I want to see you interviewed by Joy Reid. I want to see you interviewed on Meet the Press. I want to see you on Face the Nation. I want to see you on State of the Union and with Jake Tapper. I want to see those interviews.
Those interviews aren't going to happen. One might. Again, it's going to be scripted questions. She's never going to go out and just take free questions that she's not prepared for. We've all seen what happens to Kamala Harris when she's off script. She falls apart, giggles, and falls apart. She can't handle an open interview.
The American people want to see those interviews. Because if you don't, if you wait too long, then the momentum's going to slip. See, all the left needs to do is show fight. Stand on your record. Most American people want things a certain way. Some American people want things another way. Okay, cool. Make your case. But don't do it by circumventing the process. The process entails you doing interviews, you having press conferences, you answering questions and not reading down and saying, okay, Stephen A. Smith, it's your turn. Okay, Charlamagne the God, it's your turn. Okay, Jake Tapper, it's your turn. Okay, Caitlin Collins or Joy Reid, it's your turn. Nah! Stand up on the podium and look into the crowd and just point. You. You ain't running from nobody because you want to be the president.
It's kind of strange how this is going here because he's directly calling her out. And Stephen A. Smith has got a powerful voice. He's got a massive crowd. A lot of people on the left and the right watch him. But I guarantee you, after he put this out, a lot of people open up their eyes in a different way because they're like, hey, wait a second. This isn't just coming from like somebody usually on the right criticizing Kamala. We have a straight up Democrat, left-leaning individual here who is calling her out. I don't know if he really is trying to like give her that confidence boost. I don't know if Kamala actually watches Stephen A. But I think he knows damn well she's never going to do anything what he's saying right here. She's never going to get up in front of no big crowd. You, question. It's never going to happen. The plan is to literally try and ride this out for the next 80 some odd days. But time's running out because just as he said there, the momentum's going to die. As soon as she released that economic plan, the momentum died. It deflated. You have left-wing media pretty much will saying, no thanks. We're not cool with this.
You ain't running from nobody. Let's go. Let's go. You 19 years younger than Donald Trump. You swear you more honest than Donald Trump, more ethical than Donald Trump, more decent than Donald Trump. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. See, I cover sports. And let me tell y'all something real quick. I'm a stickler for this. I cannot stand, I adamantly despise athletes, youngsters, being held accountable to the degree that politicians are held accountable. We get on athletes for every little mistake they make, role models, lack thereof, and all of this other stuff. We get on them. They pass gas, we on their ass. Everywhere we turn, they 20, they 22, they 25. I can pick athletes, name after name after name, that y'all were ready to throw out the pasture and tell them they ain't worth a damn. Why? Because they made a mistake. But all they doing is playing ball and collecting their check for their hard-earned money and effort. Y'all are trying to run our lives. Economically, healthcare, border, list goes on and on.
Does it not sound that he's calling out communism without saying it? I'm pretty sure Stephen A knows what's going on. And he's calling it out.
Reproductive rights. Everywhere we turn, you're trying to have dominion over people, but somehow, some way, too many politicians throughout the years have skirted responsibility, simply being mandated to stand up and make your positions clear and speak up for yourself and stand on what you stand on. If ever there is a position where there should not be allowed, is somebody in pursuit of the presidency of the United States of America. I support you, my sister Kamala Harris. Got my vote. But enough of this with the rallies, disguises. I don't care that 15,000 people showed up. We got that. You're going to get support. You are 19 years younger than this man. There is no cognitive decline when it comes to you. You are spry, you are energetic, you are ready, you are feisty, you are a fighter, you are intelligent, you know how to do battle. Let's go! I want to see some damn interviews. I want to see you answer some questions. This is not said in the negative. I'm saying it because I believe in you. And I believe that if this strategy, which has worked to this point, I'm fearful that if you continue to do it, you're going to lose momentum. I'm not knocking the Harris campaign, the Harris-Walz campaign, for what you are doing. I'm saying it can't continue for long. Otherwise, you're going to have slippage in the momentum. As we draw closer to the election, don't let people look at Trump and saying he willing to stand up and fight anything, anybody, at any time. But she's not. You let them know you know how to fight too. And you know how to win.
Okay. So, my personal thoughts on this are, if y'all recall, I don't know if you guys have seen when Stephen A. Smith goes on his political tantrums, like he's done this before. He did this last with the Manhattan case with Trump. And he was calling it out that they're using lawfare and whatnot. But then he did get in trouble from the NAACP, I think it is. Personally, I think come November 5th, Stephen A. Smith is going to go behind that curtain and he's voting for Trump. That's personally what I think. And I think he's one of many. He doesn't want 4 more years of this. He knows Kamala Harris cannot get us out of these problems. She helped create these problems. She's stating on day one, I'll do this. On day one, I'll do it now. Why haven't you done it? This is your own stuff that you're talking about. Oh, inflation is Trump's fault. It's all because of Trump. Trump left them, I think it was 1.4 or 1.4% inflation when he left office. He handed them over an amazing economy. They tore it apart. Unfortunately, a lot of Trump's policies were done by, I believe, executive orders. That way Biden was able to cancel them out. He destroyed Trump's policies, which now you can see was a terrible mistake. I think Stephen A. Smith is going to be voting for Donald Trump come November 5th. And I think he woke a lot of people up with this. Now again, her economic plan got released since this video was released. And I'm sure that's even pushed him more to the right. So at this point, I think that Stephen A. is a I guess, kind of like an in-the-closet Republican. I guess that's what I can call him for now. But I mean, this is how your politics should be voted on. It shouldn't just be like, I always vote blue, I always vote red. No, you got to vote on common sense. What's going to help your family? What's going to help your finances? What's going to help your country? It doesn't matter who it is. Who is the better politician, Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? It's pretty simple. Was your life better 4 years ago? Is it better now? Do you want 4 more years of this? 8 more years of this? 12 straight years of this? I don't think so. The DNC will be coming up this week, starting tomorrow night. That should be 4 kind of fun days. I'm pretty much all thinking it's going to be kind of like watching the Academy Awards. A lot of, different acts, different artists getting up and performing. I feel that every speech, if you remember the RNC convention, a lot of it was very heartfelt. You were able to feel that energy for 4 days. It was incredible. I feel that the DNC is going to feel like, again, the Academy Awards, kind of like a big show, lots of celebrities. And anybody that gets up to make a speech, it's all going to be, we got to keep Donald Trump out of the White House. He's a danger to democracy. The next 4 days are going to be fun. I'll see you guys soon.